Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto Was Sent to the Marvel World. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune because after this I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto Returned Different after his training trip. And also over on Anime King 2 I'm going to be posting What If Orochimaru was Naruto's father. So stay in tune for that, and I'm also going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a God Amongst Man. So also stay in tune for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support guys. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time we left off, Naruto Shadow Clone told him that magic was back, as Naruto quickly went to her compound, leaving the family behind, along with Harold, Charles, and Gabrielle. As Naruto found magic, he quickly used his seal on her to trap her to himself. So once she teleported, he was along with her, as she asked him why the hell have he been stalking her. Is he with aim or something? But Naruto told her no, as he told her let's go back to the apartment and let's talk. Which they did, as they headed back to the apartment, as Naruto told her about his world and what he wanted to do. But she could not help him. She could not go somewhere she hasn't been before. But there is someone, a man named Gateway, as he was able to see into someone's mind and picture the place and take them there. But the problem is he only spent days on Earth and today is his last day. Suddenly gunshots went off as Naruto bolted upstairs. When Naruto arrived, Naruto saw two headless men on the ground, and he saw Gabrielle as she was holding her husband Charles. As he had a bullet wound in the forehead, he was dead, as she told him that those men came here for him. It was then that they attacked her husband after they told him they didn't know where you are, and they shot him. Harold then went crazy and screamed as their head exploded. Another one then came and restrained Harold with another one, as they then took him away. As Naruto told her that he's sorry, as she was crying. As Naruto then created a clone and left the clone behind, as he blamed himself greatly for that. He could have left the clone there. He could have taken these people out of the city the first time he met them. Since he'd come here, he didn't care about people's life. He stopped being a hero. As Naruto was going to change that by getting Harold back, as magic followed behind him as Naruto went downstairs. As Naruto quickly found some of the men as he asked them who was behind the taking, as the man quickly spilled their guts after Naruto choked them till they were dying. A man named Linka, he was a prime minister of this place. As Naruto went along with magic, he told her to get Linka out of there, as he will deal with the drawing of their fire. As Naruto went into action, as Naruto went on a killing rage, he just slaughtered, cutting them down like they were nothing. Their bullets, their grenade, they weren't affecting him, as Naruto was pissed. He was beyond pissed, until magic arrived as she told him that she got the man. As both of them then vanished, as they were brought back to the apartment, where magic brought the man. As Naruto asked him, where is Harold? After choking the air out of him, he finally broke, as he told Naruto that he handed the boy over to Monica Robajini, as she was a scientist of the Supreme of AIM. As magic quickly understand who he was talking about, Monica was tracing her down, and that is why she's been on the run and never stay one place. As Naruto asked magic if he know where this Monica is, as she nodded, as it was time that he paid her a little visit. Naruto also destroyed Linka's reputation by going to the king and telling him that Linka has been the one who was supporting this war behind the scenes. Naruto also uses clones to kill off most of Linka's men, that were in the other district, and with that Naruto and Magic headed off. So yeah guys, that was basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We start this episode with Naruto and Ileana as they were standing on the mountainside of Sokovia as they were looking down at a military base / research facility, as there were several guards and lookout towers and lights, searchlights across the fence line, as the research building was 3 stories tall and the size of your average high school. Several people were walking out as they were wearing clothes completely covering their entire body with yellow. It was completely yellow, like there was something wrong in there, and they were wearing masks as well. At first Naruto thought these guys were scientists, but he then saw they had rifles. So what's the plan? Magic whispered. The both of them crouched down behind a massive boulder, keeping them out of view of everyone. Please don't tell me you're gonna pull the same stunt as last time, she said. Don't worry, this will be way more subtle, Naruto said. Ileana smiled nervously. Are you even capable of subtle? She asked. Not really, said Naruto. It's worth giving a shot though. Alright then, I'm out of here, she said. This place gave me the creeps. With that she started sinking one of her white portals. Good luck, she said as she vanished. Thanks, Naruto said, as he got her from behind the boulder. As Naruto put his hands up and put it behind his neck, with a slow calm walk he made his way to the base. It only took seconds for all of them to turn their attention on him, as a crack of gunfire crackled through the air as the ground in front of him exploded in dirt and grass. The spotlight, all of them had turned towards him, covering him in pure white light. Halt! The man in the guard tower shouted out in Sokovia. I will not miss twice. This place is off limit to all civilians. State your business or you will be placed under arrest. Naruto, not able to speak Sokovian quite yet, he just understand it. He shouted out in English. I come here to surrender myself. My name is Nathan Erickson. The guard understand him, as he then pulled out a radio as he spoke into it quietly. He then placed it back. Stay there, he said as he lowered his gun. With a loud rattle, the 2 doors opened up as 4 men in the same hazmat suit, the yellow one, marched out, coming towards Naruto, as all of them chopped him in a box. The first one went up to Naruto and grabbed both of his hands and placed him in handcuffs. One of them started to pat him down, checking for any weapons he might have. As the man found a kunai on Naruto and took it and confiscated it, as the other one looked at him, as the man gave him a nod saying that he was clean. Move, the man said behind Naruto, pressing his gun into Naruto's lower spine, as Naruto obliged as he stepped forward and started walking, as the 5 of them headed towards the research facility, as Naruto made sure to see each and every twist that it took them to get there. As they reached the 2 metal doors, as the squad leader stepped forward to see writing 476954, the doors then slapped open. Walking inside, Naruto was disappointed. There was nothing in front of him. The large room was completely empty, the only thing being a single woman. Suddenly, the lights turned on to reveal the room being some kind of an arena. Inside the arena was a rather pretty woman with long, thin black hair. She looked to be Italian, as she was wearing a green dress with yellow gloves. Hello, Mr. Erickson. My name is Monica. Robigini. It's nice to meet you, she said. I heard a lot of things about you. Sure you have, Naruto said, looking the woman dead in her eyes, as Monica continued to look at Naruto for a moment before looking at the man behind him. She then gave the man a slight nod as the man started to remove the handcuffs. As Naruto started to rub its chafing wrists even though they had healed, as Monica narrowed her eyes, as those handcuffs were to cause bruise, but it seems like he had a wonderful healing ability. Self-regeneration as well, my, aren't we just full of surprises, Monica said. First that buffoon said that you have control over metal, and you could melt the gun with your hands, and now you can heal yourself, even if said wounds were minor. Impressive, as she walked forward. Almost impressive as our friend Magic, or the boy Harold. Truly, those capabilities are endless. I can only imagine the things I would do if I either had one of their powers. As Naruto didn't say a word, allowing the woman to circle him, as her eyes were all over him. I have always had an admiration for those who were gifted with such powers. The things that I've seen that I thought was once impossible. teleportation, flight, regeneration at an incredible scale. And don't even get me started about these Inhumans. Those who are able to get abilities, superhuman abilities, but they're too selfish to share that knowledge with the rest of the human population. So she said as she stopped a few feet away from Naruto, if they will not step the next step towards evolution, I decide to find it my own way, she said with a smirk. Even if that means kidnapping the Inhumans and experimenting on them, Naruto asked. Even if it means kidnapping innocent children who have no stake in your stupid grab towards power, as Monica simply smirked even more. But of course, how else am I to find out how it is done? I need to see what gives them their power. What is the X factor? Once I find that, I can replicate it. As her smile then fell for a moment, believe me when I say this was our last resort. All other methods at end in failure or death, from trying to recreate the serum that created Captain America, to trying to copy the method that Bruce Banner became the Hulk, the monster he is now. We even tried to use cybernetics, but it failed. In the inhuman part, looking at this woman, memory of Orochimaru and Kabuto came to Naruto's mind. What you have done is unforgivable, in every sense of the word. As his eyes narrow, as he started to leak out chakra, if you done anything to that poor boy, I'm gonna kill you. And how are you gonna do that? With a snap of her fingers, 4 doors around the arena opened. As Monica smirked as she stepped back, allow me to introduce you to my acquire. With a wave of her hand, 4 figures stepped out. The first to appear was a middle-aged man with brown hair and a thin beard. The second was a woman to be in her late 50s, her grey hair tied back in a bun on her head. The third was a girl in her mid-teens, with her red hair reaching to her shoulders. And finally came out Harold himself, bags under his eyes and his pupil dilated and unfocused. It was like he was out of it. All 4 of them were tight, yellow body suit that hugged their body tightly. Naruto took a step towards Harold. Harold, hey! He won't respond, said Monica. Remember when I told you about our field cybernetic experiment? Well, while his body had become horribly disfigured and crippled, his mind is still as active as ever. Which is good because his control over the mind is greatly useful when dealing with our superpowered guest. And you should know it's better for an inhuman to capture one of his own kind. So, my man, don't go and get themselves killed. Now, Harold, this will be your field test, she said. So if you would, please sedate our friend. Yes, ma'am, said Harold. As it took a second for Harold to dive right into Naruto's mind, as Naruto quickly followed him. As Naruto found Harold, as the both of them were standing in front of Kurama's cage. Naruto walked towards Harold, for Harold to shoot him right in the chest with pure energy, forcing Naruto back. Damn it, Harold, I'm trying to help. Snap the hell out of it, Naruto says he got up. As Naruto didn't want to attack or hurt Harold, as he wondered if he could get through to him mentally. Your mom is worried sick about you, Harold. Come back, let me take you home. Why should I? Because of you, my dad is dead. You could have taken us away, you could have done something. I hate you, Harold shouted, tears in his eyes. With a yell, Harold threw his arms out. Another blast came in towards Naruto as it slammed right into his chest, knocking Naruto back as Harold was strong enough to shake Naruto's mind. Damn it, kid, Naruto says he got up. You're right. I should have done something to help you guys. Nothing I can do, not even saving you from these people, can make up for what happened. Not for your dad. And if you want to hate me some more, I'll let you. But damn it, kid, can we please do it after I get you away from these psychopaths, Naruto yelled. No, Harold said. I am not going anywhere with you. Fine, Naruto said. As Naruto appeared behind Harold in a blink of an eye, as he chopped him in the back of the neck, as he watched Harold fade away out of his mindscape. As Naruto turned, I'll probably need your help in a bit, he said to Kurama. Right, Kurama said. As Naruto got out of his mindscape, barely a second had passed by outside. Looking over at Harold, he watched as the boy collapsed in on himself. As Naruto appeared in front of him in a burst of speed, as he caught the boy, as he quickly created a clone, taken to his mother, Naruto said. The clone nodded as he took the boy and vanished in a Shunshin. Well, said Monica. You're getting more and more interesting by the second. I don't really care, said Naruto. as the three metahumans surrounded him in a triangle. As Monica chuckled, "You must have some kind of barrier or something placed in your mind. We had to sedate the boy heavily for we to get in control of him. But you knocked him out. By pushing him out of your mind, it seems like you have control over your subconscious as well. You have super strength, speed, self-replication, and you also have some teleportation ability. Just what can't you do?" said Monica as she didn't care that Harold had left with one of his clones, only staring at Naruto. "I want to see just what else you can do. Perhaps you're the key." As she looked at the three acquires. "You're all free to go all out, but don't kill him. Understood?" "Understood," all of them said. Then without warning, the three of them dashed towards Naruto. The bearded man pulled his hand back, his hand covered by fire. The older woman didn't actually come at him at all. She instead levitated a couple dozen feet above them. The girl's entire body was covered by ice. Her hand had turned into a club made from ice with spikes on it as she swung at Naruto, as Naruto stepped out of the way with pretty ease. He then had to dodge to the side to avoid the flaming fist that was coming to the back of his skull. Naruto then spun around and grabbed the ice girl by her leg as he spun her around and released her. The woman then grabbed Naruto as she tried to bring him up in the air, but Naruto wasn't having any of it as he slammed his hand right into her stomach as she released him. He then gave a backward kick to her chin, probably shattering her teeth, as that knocked her out cold, as Naruto created a clone as he grabbed the woman and gave the woman to the clone. "Take her away, then create a handful more for yourself and scour the building of innocents. When you're done, let me know." The clone nodded as he body flicked her away. Naruto then vanished as a torrent of fire descended upon where he was, nearly swallowing him whole. As Naruto then turned to see the fireman covered his entire body, now encased in fire, trying to shoot Naruto down. As Naruto quickly body flickered towards him. As Naruto speed through hand signs, as he placed his hand forward, wind style expanded vacuum spear. As wind started spinning around the man, as it cut away all the oxygen, as the fire went out, as he collapsed and went unconscious. As he created another clone for him to get the man. As Naruto saw that Monica hadn't left the arena. As he dodged the girl, everything she touched turned into ice. As Naruto looked over at Monica, "Fine, if she wants a show, let me give her a show." As Naruto turned towards the ice girl as he entered 6-path sage mode. The sudden shift in his power caused the ground to crack underneath the weight as the wind around him twirled. As the ice girl appeared in front of Naruto and slammed the club right in his face. That was strong enough to break concrete, but Naruto didn't even move an inch. And while usually anything she touched froze on contact, she was melting. The ice club on her arm was melting away, showing her real hand. So you don't actually turn yourself into ice, you just cover yourself with it like an armor. As he grabbed a hold of her, then I don't have to feel bad about this then. With that, a blue ball of fire covered his hand, as it then covered the girl, melting the ice and giving her a bit of a sunburn while he was at it. As he then chopped her in the neck, knocking her out. As he made a clone and made the clone take her away, he turned around and saw Monica still standing there, as she had a look of enjoyment and happiness on her face. If only I knew I was in the presence of such a superior being," said Monica. "This power is suffocating. I can barely stand it," she said, as she chuckled darkly. "Just imagine what I can do with you." Once again, the being, someone, was trying to invade his mind. As Naruto went to his mindscape to confront this person. As Naruto was surprised at what he saw, it was a man. His head was massive, and his arms were tiny, and his legs were tiny, as his head was covered by a iron strange metal helmet. As Naruto looked at his face, it was a sickly, grayish purple. As he looked Naruto up and down, "So, you're the creature Dr. Monica told me about. From what I saw through the metahumans, you're much more powerful than what we ever expected, boy. It's a shame that you will be forced to become that wretched woman, slave." Given the reaction I got from her when she first saw you, use your abilities. It wouldn't be shocking if she forced you to mate with her. As he then turned towards Krama, "But this creature within you is rather strange. Is he the source of your power, or merely a small factor? I can't seem to enter your mind. This be the final blocker." It's truly impressive that you can keep me out. No one was able to overcome my mind. But eventually, I shall take over. Because you will fall soon under my power. Because no one can stand up to Modok, he said. As Naruto held out his hand, as he threw a truth-seeking ball, he turned into a spear as it fly right through the man's giant head. That guy was annoying, said Kurama. Naruto opened his eyes once again as he looked Monica in the eyes, as she thought that Modok had succeeded. Good work, Modok. Send him to the rehabilitation room and tell him to have his replications bring back the other acquires. As Monica then got up into Naruto's personal space, as she brought her hand on his face. Such a handsome man, she said. But she was beyond shock when Naruto grabbed her by the neck. I want you to watch, he said, as his chakra causing the room to shake and the wall to crack as the glasses start to break as the lights crack above them, the only source of light being Naruto in his cloak. I want you to watch as I burn this place to the ground, as I make sure that your every ambition, your every desire become dust beneath your feet. Explosions start to rock around the building, followed by various screams and gunfire. I want to make sure you watch and no one will be forced into your grave. Disgusting experiments, you greedy, narcissistic monster of a woman. And with a burst, the both of them are surrounded by the avatar of the nine-tailed fox. The two find themselves in the avatar's head as Monica eyes went wide as the body of the fox destroyed most of the building already just by getting up. As a pleading look came in her eyes. Please, please don't do this, Naruto. Please, this is for the good of mankind. How do you know my name? What? Monica said. I asked you, how did you know my name? The only person I told was her. As realization struck Naruto. What did you do? Realizing where he was going and his grip was getting tighter, Monica screamed out. We didn't hurt him, I swear. Modok found out when he entered his mind. He saw all of his memories. That's all, I swear, she begged. As her voice was overrun with panic, praying that he believed her. Naruto, sensing that she was telling the truth, looked away, as he looked down at all the destruction that he had caused. Good, he said, as his grip wasn't so tight. You ready, kid? Said Kurama. As Naruto nodded. Yeah, let's do this. As Naruto wanted to try something for a while, as he jumped out of Kurama's head, along with Monica, as he was floating above him. You good? He asked. As Kurama looked up at him with a toothy smile. It's good, kid. We can fight separate now. It's gonna be awesome. And I so know how to celebrate this achievement, Kurama said, as he extended his hands, as two arms sprouted from his shoulder and rib cage. As he held out his normal hands as they started to form a massive Rasengan, as the other two started to channel a massive amount of wind chakra into it. Better get back, kid, said Kurama. Wind style, ultimate, big ball Rasen Shuriken. With a massive hurl, Kurama hurled a big ball of Rasen Shuriken towards the remain of the aim base, as everything went up in a boom. The entire base was incinerated, leaving behind a giant crater. I've always wanted to do something like that, Kurama said proudly. Thank you for the help, Kurama. You can go now, said Naruto. Kurama grumbled. Yeah, I'm going, jeez. I'm allowed out once a year nowadays. You think I would get to allow to enjoy myself outside, but no. And with that he vanished. As Naruto started to descend down to the ground, as he arrived in the center of the crater, as he released Monica, she dropped with a thud. As she looked what remained of her work, nothing. As he looked at Monica, she wasn't crying or begging. She was just there, sitting, looking at the ground. As Naruto reached into the back of his jeans, as he pulled the gun that Gabriel gave him. You treasure your own life. I can see it now. You're trying to figure out how you can recover from this, how to continue your great work. As he pointed the gun right in her face. But I won't allow it to happen, Naruto said, as he pointed the gun right between her eyes, as she just looked at him without saying a word. As Naruto pulled the trigger, bang! Time skip. You call that Loki? Said Ileana, as she was at the hotel room that the family was staying in. As Naruto entered, as the blood was all cleaned up by one of Naruto's clones, as he saw Gabrielle with her sleeping son scooped up in her arms. As he went to the bedroom and he saw Charles' body as it was covered by a bed sheet. A sudden memory flew through his head with the clones bringing the people to the hospital. And it made him relax knowing that those people were now in good hands. "Hey," Magic said, "don't ignore me. Do you have any idea what is going on because of your little show? You're all over the news for God's sake," as she pointed at the television. As Naruto turned as he was reading that the war is now over, the rebellion side has been picked off by reports, what they were calling to be a one-man army. As Naruto saw them clipped over to Sokovia, as a man was giving a report and saying that they were unknown to what happened in one of their bases that suddenly went boom, as they were currently doing investigation. As Naruto looked down at Gabriel, as he crouched down, but he didn't want to do anything too rash. But he then placed his hand on her shoulder. "We should go," he said. Gabriel's eyes slowly opened as they were red and puffy from her constant tears. As she nodded slowly as she got up, making sure not to wake up her son, who just has fallen asleep in her arms. As Naruto went into the bedroom, as he lifted up the body with a sheet over it. As he came up back to hear Ileana asking Gabriel, where does she want to go? "I just want to go home," Gabriel said. As Ileana nodded. "Do you have a picture of it?" Ileana asked, as Gabriel reached in her pocket and pulled out her phone. As she unlocked the lock screen and started to go through her photos, looking for one particularly. As she then showed the picture to the blonde woman in front of her. It was a family picture with Gabriel and Charles, as Gabriel was pregnant, probably 6 months, as both of them had a big smile on their face and Charles had his hand on her belly. "Alright, that should be enough," Magic said, as she closed her eyes and started to reach out to the house. Finally, after several seconds, a large portal opened up behind her. As she stepped aside low, Gabriel and Harold to walk through first. As Gabriel put her foot through the portal first, as she shook it, as she felt nothing wrong, so she stepped inside. As Ileana and Naruto followed after her, with some clones behind him, with their family luggage. As Naruto walked through the portal, he saw that they were now in a British suburbia, each house identical to each other, as it was a very large neighborhood. As they went inside, as the place was kind of a little mess, toys were everywhere, along with magazines and articles, books, as dust had started to settle, seeing that they weren't here for a long while now. As Naruto walked over to the couch, as he looked at the covered face of Charles. "I'm sorry, Charles. I truly am," he whispered, as he gently placed the man's body on the couch. "I would like for you to leave now," as Naruto turned to see Gabriel behind him. As he looked at her for several minutes, wondering what the right words for him to say, but it's best if he said nothing, as he slowly walked past her, until he felt someone press against his mental barrier. "Goodbye, Naruto." As he stopped for only a second. "Goodbye, Harold." As Naruto walked towards Ileana. "Would your friend still be here?" he asked, as she looked at her watch. "Probably not," she said, "but if you want to, we can still go and check." "Alright," Naruto said. As another portal opened as the both of them walked inside. As Naruto looked around, they were now in Australia, the outback, near to a small cabin. "Hey, old man, you here?" Ileana called out. Walking up to the cabin, she didn't even bother to knock. She instead walked in like she owned the place. As Naruto came in after her, but the place was empty. It was abandoned. "He's gone." "Sorry," Ileana said. Naruto just sat down as he ran his hand through his hair. "It's alright, don't apologize." "So, what are you gonna do now?" Ileana asked as she sat down into the next chair beside him. "I don't know, to be honest," he said. "All this time I've spent trying to find a way to get back home, and I never made any plans what to do if I was stuck here permanently, which in hindsight was pretty stupid. What am I gonna do for money? How am I going to get a job? I don't have one of those diplomas who people talk about so much," he said. "I am sure as hell not working for S.H.I.E.L.D. And what about Natasha? We always have this understanding that I might leave eventually, but now what are we gonna do?" "Natasha?" said Ileana. Naruto nodded. "Yeah, she's my girlfriend. We've been going out for nearly a year now." The realization hit Naruto. Holy crap, we've been going out for nearly a year now. "Is that bad?" asked Magic. Naruto shook his head, a small smile on his face. No, not really." "Oh, okay," she said a little awkwardly. Naruto got back up from his seat. "I do know one thing though. It's time I got back into the swing of things. It's time I introduced the world to a new kind of hero." As he looked down at Magic as he smirked. "My kind of hero. And what exactly is that?" she asked. The kind that does what's right or whatever, Naruto said. Magic got up. Maybe that's how you can make some money. Be a hero for hire or whatever, she said. A hero for hire, huh? Well, I was a shinobi back home. I did get paid for my missions. Yeah, this is all coming together, Naruto said. As he rubbed his hand together as a plan started to form in his head. You will need a human name like Iron Man or the Human Torch, he said. Human Torch? Naruto said. Yeah, you know, the superheroes from the 30s or the 40s. I wonder what should I be called, he thought. Meanwhile, so you survived, if only barely. You dare mock me? Said Modok. I am the next evolution of computer technology. You are weak, fool. So weak that you couldn't even stand up to that creature's attack, the person said. As Modok was in a bad state, his arms and legs shattered and torn to pieces. The thing on his head was destroyed as there was a long gash right on his forehead as blood was coming out. You dare talk down to me, Korvik? You are nothing but a failed experiment. You're lucky that Monica took such a liking to you, or you would be thrown out a long time ago. Yes, I owe a lot for what I am today because of Monica. Because without her, I would have never evolved into the being I am today. But now my savior is gone, and you should have protected her, but you were too weak and pitiful. That man was more powerful than I could have predicted, said Modok. As his eyes then went wide, what are you doing, Korvik? As he screamed as a wave of energy enveloped him, wipe his existence out entirely. Prepare yourself, Naruto Uzumaki. I shall find you, and come for you soon, Korvik said. Time skip. The date, May the 3rd, 2012. As we have a large room with a lot of drug dealers. One of the drug dealers, a massive black man with his shirt 3 times the size, as he was sitting in the center of the room in the couch, as he was polishing a revolver in his hand, and there was a good amount of guns on the table in front of him. As there was a skinny white man next to him, and to his left there was an Asian man, as the both of them were counting the stack of cash in their hands. Finally, the last drug dealer was wearing a green t-shirt that read Richmond High School, showing that the man was from Queens. As he was sitting down, as he had a scale in front of him, as he placed a bag of cocaine on it to show it was over 2 pounds. This is about 18 G's. Yo, what's the name of the supplier again? He asked. The black man turned towards him. Don't worry about the supplier, Grad, he said. Grad nodded. Sorry, T, he said. There was then a knock on the door, as all of them looked at each other, then turned towards the door. Who could that be? Is it the 5-0? The skinny white man asked as he reached for his gun. The Asian man looked at the man. Who calls a pig 5-0 anymore? Shut up, said T, as he tossed the revolver over to Grad. Go see who it is. Grad held the revolver in his hand. Me? For real? Yes, you, T said. As Grad nodded, as he got up, as he slowly made his way towards the door, as he put the gun right at the door, as he looked through the peephole, but he couldn't see anyone, as he sighed. As he then unlocked the door, as he peeped out to see who it was. As Grad then saw the person as he opened the door wide, a man of Hispanic descent, as he had a shaved head with a dark brown hoodie over his body, a wicked Mike Tyson ESC tattoo stamped next to his left eye socket. Hector, you stupid fool, T said. Why didn't you say it was you? We thought it was a pig or something. Sorry man, it kind of just slipped my mind, Hector said, as he entered the room to see the guns on the couch. Geez, that's a lot of heat, he said, as he walked over and picked up one of the guns and started to inspect it. Yeah, bitch, Coppermouth just got promoted up to dealer and arm. Just made a couple big sales a couple nights ago. The white skinny man said. Really, said Hector, as he then spun around and slammed the gun right into Grad's head, knocking him out cold as the cocaine fell to the ground. What the hell are you doing, T said, as the bottom of a shotgun slammed right into his nose, breaking it. Hector then turned to the skinny white man who pulled his revolver, as Hector slapped it out of his hand and grabbed the man by his face and thrust him into the wall, as the Asian man pulled up a pumpy, as he turned it towards Hector. But Hector appeared in front of the gun and held it as the gun started to melt. He then drove his fist right into the man's forehead, sending him crashing through the window. What the hell, T said as he had his nose covered. What the hell is going on? Hector, what the... As Hector picked up the TV and slammed it in the man's head, as T was knocked the hell out. On the TV, news was playing as it was still going, as the anchor spoke. Today marked the 24th anniversary to the disappearance of Peter Quill. Most of you, I'm sure, remember the story that took over the 80s, a boy from Springfield, Missouri, who disappeared the very night of his mother's death due to complication with skin cancer. The boy, grandfather Andrew Quill, led a statewide search for the missing boy. The boy's story touched the people's heart, leading hundreds of thousands of people searching for the boy. Even still, the elder Quinn holds up any hope on his grandson. The woman named Christine on the news spoke. The camera then popped up right at the top of her head, with Kurama with a massive ball of Rasen shuriken. In global news, a new video has been surfaced, giving the explosion of the lab in Sokovia. The video showing a massive strange creature, which was the cause. Many question if this video was edited. The question we need to ask is if the video is real. What could this mean for the world if a creature like this roam around the earth? Truly scary stuff, Christine said as she shook her head. In more global news, the return of Captain America has been the main headline of the day. The good Captain apprehend a mystery attacker that was in the museum. Captain Rogers were assisted by Tony Stark in his Iron Man armor, with the two of them taking the attacker to a currently unknown location. Hector shook his head. Of course, someone had a camera. Why not? Hector was then enveloped by a puff of smoke as Naruto stepped out from his transformation. I wonder when did Fury start letting Rogers stretch his legs? I figured they would make him coop up there for another year or so. I would apologize for stirring up so much crap, but it was fun, Kurama said as he chuckled at the end. Whatever, Kurama. I am more surprised that Fury hasn't brought it up yet. It's pretty odd. I figure Fury would have gotten on your ass months ago. I mean, we caused a ton load of damage. As Naruto then felt someone enter behind him, as he turned around, as this man's energy felt like Thor's, but it was different, as the man had a staff in his hand and he was wearing green clothing. He had black long hair that flowed down, as he kind of looked like a Uchiha, if Naruto would say. As Naruto looked at the staff to see it was humming with power with a blue gem at the top. My, the man said, what a fascinating creature you are. It seems like Clint was actually telling the truth about what an impressive creature you are, to think that such power is just lying around. Naruto narrowed his eyes. I know for a fact that Clint doesn't have any friends outside of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I know that you're not a member, because none of them just like that. So, who the hell are you? Naruto asked. The man chuckled. I believe the Enchantress must have told you a little about me, but I believe she may have tried to contact you after my little excommunication. Did you kill her? I haven't seen her lately, he said. Enchantress? Naruto said. Oh, you mean that Amora chick? Naruto said. Well, no, I didn't kill her. She asked me to take her after Thor got sent back to his home world or realm, whatever. She told me that you ordered her to take control of me. Is that true? But of course, the man said. That woman is so willing to please. So desperate for love, true love. It's really sad. She will do anything you ask for her if she thinks that she will get it. Just who the hell are you, Naruto asked. The man spread his arms. Well, if you may ask, my name is Loki, and I'm the new ruler of this world. Now, bow before your god. But guys, that'll be ending this episode right here. If you want the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications stay posted. Remember, cheers to all of your friends in your social media platform. But for now, guys, I'm out of here. Stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way. Peace.